Hello, this is Mystic Brew. I'm Radagast with Aianawa, also known as Vernon. And these are two mystics talking. And we will title it after we're done because we don't know exactly where we're going to go. But I know at some point I want to break in a little bit into the divine feminine. But I would like Vernon to take the lead.
There's a few things on our mind, both of us. One being the divine feminine. Me is also doing a wee bit of noospheric diving. I spoke about the pain body a wee bit in the last video, and on the noospheric dive or the meditation or the nodding into the noosphere, the pain body aspect of it got broadened, and it's like the pain body is actually being revealed. When we talked about Nancy Pelosi showing her pain body so well, so that people could see it for what it was. The collective pain body and is obviously going to be connected to everybody's macro pain body is going to be connected to micro pain bodies of each individual. So I got a multi-layered one. So on a chakra level, the clearing and transmutation of the pain body started at the perineum, around that area, sexual organs, etc. So porn, etc., etc. Quite a long time ago that started. Maybe even harmonic convergence, something like that. It likely started on the clearing of the pain body around that. Yes, these are divine feminine and abuse. You want to look at it from a double angle, segueing into both. And another level, it's been revealed. It was revealed to me that the pain body has been in hiding. See, I always see the pain body as being very obvious and very evident. And it really surprised me when I said, know that what's happening at the moment is the pain body is being recognized. If you can imagine that you're in a relationship with somebody that's got a very strong pain body, and it's just their pain, they're a beautiful person, that demonic pain body takes over and they don't even know who they are when they see a video of it. They're like, oh, just not me. So the pain body is quite an intense process. And we've all had one at some stage. So watching it from another angle is the pain bodies they can hide. They hide in corporations, hide in relationships, they hide in religions, they hide everywhere. They don't want to be seen. So if you're in a relationship with a big pain body, nobody will know about it except for their partner, maybe their parents, maybe an ex-partner or two. So it hides. It doesn't want to be seen. It wants to keep on living. When it's seen, they might do something about it if they can see it for themselves. Hence, being present in the now is the only way to actually work with the pain body of yourself. On the macro level, Trump's doing a beautiful job, isn't he? Isn't he the best troll ever?
Oh, yeah. I am so happy. I mean, as an American, I am so happy that Trump is the president.
Well, he is really pushing he's allowing the pain body to be seen. And it's very obvious, he doesn't have to do much and the pain body is being seen. But this is also a global thing. So we're seeing some really heavy stuff on the human trafficking, child abuse, etc. side of it. It will be seen, because that putrid that's been worked on, the WERs that work around the negative and putrid material stuff, has to be seen as well. So we're going to get hit with that. The noosphere is going to be allowed to work with that very shortly. It's already happening, But we're going to start seeing some pretty heavy stuff over the next 6 months. Really heavy stuff. Not going to be pleasant. But it has to be seen, it has to be recognized, it has to be known. So it will be seen, because that cleansing of that chakra is in full force on the macro and the micro. So, we're moving, it feels like there's, you're a body worker with people, and the one chakra's out of kilter, the other chakras just line up the best they can with that. When that chakra starts to move and clear, healthy and harmonic, all the other chakras can now lift up to where they can potentially be, whereas they've had to just bring themselves down for the other chakra to work properly. Right. So on the macro level, as the chakras on the macro level are being cleared, you even look at the divine feminine. It was absolutely shockingly, I had a word for it. It got abused from within. The feminists got in there into the divine feminine and created what was not divine feminine.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it was actually like going in there to help them create self-abuse. Not that they were right or wrong, that was what was happening in those times, 70s, 80s, whatever. But they were actually being infiltrated by these crazy, mentally ill people. Not all of them. I'm just saying there's some that got in there and they really turned it. And all of a sudden it's like, not working too well. How's the family units working? Why is the divorce rate so high? All these things, it's like there's a very big interlinking. Divine feminine coming to the fore in these times is a huge part of the transmutation and clearing. The pain body, as I said in the last video, the pain body has been in control, and to be seen, it will be the only way we can work with it. We work with it on the micro, but now we're really working on the macro. People that were in relationships and on all different levels of relationship, helping the pain body hide, and this includes business, businesses, etc. That's where the pain body would hide. They would validate some really horrible things that would hurt people, hurt the earth, hurt the divine feminine. They would validate it. We're doing this for la 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 la. Oh crap! It caused pain because that's pain body, and there'd be good people doing it. They validate their behaviour. It's unfortunate, but that's what was happening. Now it's being seen. It has to be seen. And hence some of the people around the world making massive changes at the moment. The very wise people around the world going, our way of life from generation to generation, holding our wealth in different ways and different titles, is on the way out. We're going to have to start thinking about our great-grandchildren and their children's children, and it's up to us now to be the heroes. And they were the wearers at one stage. People do find it interesting that, for me, the ones right at the top, they flipped years ago. This was known about, this is known about pre-2012, 13, and a lot of them flipped at the top. They couldn't do anything with what was underneath them. They just couldn't do anything with that. That carried on. So then they had to be real masters, start working and making changes with all the wheels that they had. You know how you got those poles and you got a plate on top and they spin the plate? Well, generationally, you had about 8, each family would have about 80 plates going. Bring there and they flick it and they keep the plate going, because if they don't keep it going and keep the family and keep their children's children moving and everything else, the plates start to fall off. Well, when they realized that the changes were happening, the looking glass technology had let them know that 2012 became a potential of nobody knows. They knew the game was up because they couldn't work with the potentials they don't know. They could work with the potentials they did know for generations. They could set up things over generations, set up wars, organise wars, etc. But then that 2012 come, that's when the big flips happened. But all the wheels underneath and those plates kept going. They're sitting there waiting, and then they take the plate gently. Just as it's about to fall off, they can take the plate gently and put it down. That's what's been happening the last 5 years. They're not giving up, but they're well aware. Like the Chinese always work on 7 generations ahead. For energy, for everything. If they ever got invaded, like they did a couple of times, they weren't too worried because they knew within 2-3 generations, the enemy would be assimilated in or packed goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
They always worked on 7 generations, and they do to this day. Hence why China and America, or Trump, they're organizing everything. Everything's in play at the moment. Russia, China, America, running the world perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
When Q says trust the plan, that's because the plan's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
And these ones at the top used to be at the top. They're happy to be in the middle now. You don't want to be at the top of the old WERS and futures and negs system, because if you are, things aren't looking good at the moment. So it's beautiful watching the mirrored system, macro, micro, and the chakra systems alone. If you go into each chakra and try and line up with the macro chakras from that, and Mother Earth chakras above the earth, you can really feel into it. You can actually start to sense where the mischief is happening day to day, week to week. When you wanted to talk about the divine feminine, it's like, well, it's taking back its power. Not with words, not anymore, because we've all, both of us have given a lot of energy to the words, divine feminine, but to move into it within yourself, and to love yourself, and to care, and to nurture, yeah, it's gonna affect the macro.
I really wanted to, like speak a lot about the divine feminine tonight, but I feel like this is not the podcast to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
We're only 2 days past the last podcast. We've done it very early. Just that there's so much happening that
I have to admit, one of the things that really educated me and really stimulated my phylogenetic memory. There's a video, I don't know, it runs about 40 minutes. It's one of the last matriarchies on the earth. It's on the Chinese-Burmese border. And I guess a woman from the BBC, a young woman, she goes there to interview some of the people and brings her very Western, jaundiced, in my opinion, perspective, but it's still a very good interview. And we get to see how the traditional societies worked, and they were matriarchal. In other words, the patriarchy is a man marries a woman and pulls her away from her family. In the matriarchy, a woman invites a man to impregnate her and introduce a son or a daughter into her family. But he goes back to his family. In other words, in this particular case, it's like the main house, and there's also known as the flower house, which I find quite erotic. And the flower house is where the women of the matriarchy entertain their men. They don't entertain their men in the house proper. They have separate houses to do this. And these is, whatever goes on in those houses is their business. But sometimes they get impregnated. So, but once again, the man who impregnated them goes back to his family. In the matriarchal society, you belong to the family of the vagina you came from. All right. So in other words, although a man from another family has contributed to this matriarchal house, he's not part of the family. And because he has his duties, because in his matriarchal family, there are many children also. So basically, in a matriarchal family, the parental figure is your older brothers, your uncles, your grandfather, but they're all part, in other words, they're part of your house. This, to me, the patriarchal system is a man takes a woman and like tries to create this separate unit. Not only is that poaching from the family, on both families. In other words, one family lost their man, one family lost their woman. Okay. And then they try to set up the separate unit. There's no need to set up separate units. We all come from families that have been already been there for generations. Why are we leaving them?
It only, for me, it's like we're very patriarchal at the moment because we've got this idea that the children bring up the children. You know, this, we don't have to go too far back to see that the grandparents and great grandparents, the children, the parents didn't bring up the children. That's
No,
just,
they did
just,
not.
no, it's children bringing up children, which is not good. You know, too much stress. You know,
And
so the
that's
grand,
part of the patriarchal system, no. Because again,
yeah,
it's like get married young, have children, and it's such a dysfunctional system. It really is.
you see the young children with the grandparents, where it's a healthy relationship, which is most of them, I think, and they're both walking slowly.
Mhm.
The little 2 and 3 year olds and the 80-year-olds, nice and slowly down the street together. You get mum and dad there, and they're in a hurry. Do the next thing to do this. You know, they're still children. Now, when they hit 40, they start moving out of that.
Mhm.
In my perspective, I believe, around about 40, start to this. You know, if you're gonna have children, wait till you're 40 if you want to bring them up yourself. I that because my boy's 8 and I'm 54, so a
Well,
lot easier.
I have one son, and both his mother and myself were in our 40s when he was born.
Yeah, it offer a lot of experience as well. Already had 40 years, so that makes sense. Um, but the communities that are slowly starting to form, even in the cities, we've seen it. And there's a good YouTube video in Spain how the corona hoax is trying to stop people from connecting. One of the things that we think horrible virus, and it's a apartment complex where they're singing to each other and playing instruments, and it's beautiful. And it's like can't keep it down. This is our natural state, but
That's
because busyness is going, so the virus is helping us,
yes.
humanity, you know, big time. You know, smog over China gone, so the Earth's breathing a wee bit better. You know, so all these the good points, like there's not sports on anymore like there was, distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot more family orientated things happening, and there's a lot more thinking and
Yeah.
feeling happening. There's a very beautiful silver lining, and it's already out doing any black lining is there, because one, there's hardly any deaths, so
Mm-hmm.
the silver lining is massive.
Yeah.
This has been talked about for years now, where big bad things are meant to be happening, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that worked out really well, and this is happening again.
Yeah.
This is the time we're living in. We've waited for all these years. You know, once you start to have that self knowledge of yourself, you want to make changes. And once you have knowledge of outside of yourself, but you have to do the inner first. You want to make changes. Well, the changes are happening. They've been happening for a few years.
That's
And if
right.
you can't see it, it means that maybe you need to go in here and do more work in here, so that you can see the changes that are happening out there, because you're missing it. It's great, you know. Can you see the silver linings of what's happening at the moment? Or are you panicking buying toilet paper?
the interesting thing is, I mean, not only did I participate in a Gnostic forum, I even hosted a night for a Gnostic, you know, like John Lamlash Nemeton. I had to give it up because it there the growth that I thought would be there was not there. And that's why I'm really starting to embrace my community, because
Yes.
it's like it really is about the heart. And John Lamb Lash has actually laid out a very shamanic path for people to follow. Unfortunately, most people follow his words and what he has said. And like I said, I started a forum. I said, "Oh, I want a greater discussion." And as soon as I started it, I mean, about a month later, I went, "I don't want to do this anymore," because it was the same old focus on victimhood. And I mean, what we're, you know, our power is in our creative ability, and we are powerful creators. And so to think that there's like, you know, like this small group of people who are orchestrating, you know, fuckery. All right. Yeah, of course. I mean, even with the coronavirus, I mean, I'm not saying there isn't a virus out there, but once again, you can take something that is a real thing and make it much bigger than it is. And in my opinion, that's exactly what has happened with this variant of flu.
Well, this is that percentage of people that we're talking about. They're the ones holding on to. They're the ones holding on to the collective pain body. That's been their power. In each generation, they can create a lot of pain, and they hold that power. Now that it's dissipating and transmutating by many different means, many different facets, and we're getting those people that are in a good place, in a good place. They're doing a lot of work now. You know, I'm already seeing work coming my way already. Joyous work as well. It's not hard, but I have eliminated things that were not allowing me to fully incorporate into that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things you can do every day. If you're constantly distracted, you can't do them. You can't be in synchronicity. So yeah. Now, shall we keep it short and sweet this one, because we're running a couple of days past the last one, Modi. Should we just call it a quick natter?
Sure.
Natter. The collective pain body. The divine feminine.
Okay, so anyway, this has been Mystic Brew. It's been late for me.
Thank you, Modi. Thank you.
And Vern has been, Aianawa has been quite tolerant of my lack of clarity. And so anyway, good night to you all. And we will title this as Vern sees fit. Anyway, good night.